So today is the 11th lecture, 15th November. So today I talk on photogravitational photorestricted three-body problem. I carried out, this problem I initiated way back. But before that, we will today remember Professor G.N. Duboshin, a great giant in the area of celestial mechanics. So this I have taken from the after his passing away, celestial mechanics, because he contributed so much to this journal. So they wrote, and two of maybe they are either his colleagues or one of them maybe is a student also. I do not know. They all are both these prominent people are there, Bromberg and Aksinov. So they have written a note on his after his death on October 20. 1986, Professor G.N. Duboshin, international editor of Celestial Mechanics, passed away. Professor Duboshin was one of the most prominent scientists in the field of celestial mechanics of the 20th century. He made a fundamental contribution to developing qualitative and analytical methods of celestial mechanics. His works on periodic solutions of differential equations, stability theory, potential theory, dynamical cosmology, stellar dynamics, and space dynamics have become world known. The multi-volume textbook by Professor Duboshin has been used and for a long while will be used as a basic manual on celestial mechanics in the USSR. It has been translated also, I think, in English. Professor Duboshin was an outstanding teacher. For almost a quarter of a century, he chaired the Department of Celestial Mechanics of Moscow State University. His numerous pupils are working now in all modern areas of celestial mechanics and space dynamics. Professor Duboshin contributed much to the advancement of international scientific collaboration. He played an active role in the International Astronomical Union and the International Astronautical Academy. In 1970, he was elected president of IAU, Commission 7 on Celestial Mechanics. Professor Duboshin was awarded an honorary degree by the University of Toruń. Professor Duboshin was a man of great culture. He tried to pass to his disciples not only professional knowledge, but the standards of scientific and general ethics as well. His name will be long remembered by all those who were happy to know him personally. So it is written by two very prominent people, Bromberg and Aksinov. Bromberg has written a textbook on restricted three-body problem, relativistic restricted three-body problem. We downloaded, but I did not download properly, so I have not been able to read it. So he has must be a good work. He has put it there. So you see 2312 Duboshin, a provisional designation 1976 GU2 is a dark Hildean asteroid from the outermost regions of asteroid belt, approximately 54 kilometers in diameter, quite large. It was discovered on 1st April 1976 by Soviet-Russian astronomer Nikolai Chernik at the Kremen Astrophysical Observatory in Nornich on the Kremen Peninsula. It was named after Russian astronomer Georgy Duboshin. So Duboshin was, honored with the name for this asteroid. It's a very big asteroid, 54 kilometers. The D-type asteroid has a longer than average rotation period of 50.78 hours. Duboshin is an asteroids of dynamical Hilda group, which stay in a 3:2 orbital resonance with Jupiter. It is, however, not a member of the collisional Hilda family, but a non-family asteroid of the main belt's background population. It orbits the Sun in the outermost asteroid belt at a distance of 3.3 to 4.6 because of the eccentricity astronomical unit once every 7 years and 11 months, 2880 days. Semi-major axis is 3.69 astronomical unit. Its orbit has an eccentricity of 0.16 and an inclination of 5 degrees with respect to the ecliptic. So around 5 degrees. Moon also has this kind with respect to, of course, it's with respect to us. So this is, I thought today we remember Professor Duboshin, a great man, because I had used Professor Chaudhary, I think, has done his research work with him, if I remember correctly. He had, after doing his PhD in functional analysis, Professor Chaudhary has gone to Russia and he worked with him. And many fundamental things Professor Chaudhary worked there. So this 14 is, I have a volume. I told you that 3 volumes when I retired I made. So this is 14 number in that, on linear stability of triangle liberation points of the photogravitational 3-body problem when the more massive primary is an oblate spheroid. So it was published in Sun and Planetary System, edited by W. Freak and G. Talecki, D. Riddle Publishing Company, Holland pages. So friends, still I do not have a soft copy for this because this is in book, and those people do not allow to get their books pages easily. So I had to somehow to continue this thing. I had, see, the story goes like this, that this conference was announced and then I said something, I must submit it. Then I got the idea, I have done oblateness enough work. Then I thought, why not put the, by the time because Dr. Bhatnagar's and Chawla's paper, I had read those things because Chawla was my close friend. So I knew his work. So I thought, why not put radiation pressure? So I introduced the radiation pressure there. The sun is also source of radiation. It is not oblate, but you can say very mild, but such models are there in space where the star is a oblate and also source of radiation. So in 14, a study related to planar restricted 3-body problem when the more massive primary is a source of radiation as well as oblate spheroid, where this equatorial plane coincident with the plane of motion is made. The triangular points have long and short periodic retrograde elliptic orbits for the mass parameter between mu and mu critical. You know that, the critical mass, which becomes 0. So in this case, friends, when you add the radiation pressure also to more massive primary, we can have a condition when the critical mass becomes 0, though no stable orbits at triangular points. The condition which I located was when R1 square is equal to 3A1 by 2 and Q is equal to the radiation pressure term is equal to 2 plus 3A1 and 2A1 raised to power 3 by 2 by 4. So this condition came from there itself. Though the paper could not be presented in an international conference, say there were many benefits working in space department, but for a researcher there was a problem that it was difficult. Funding problem was difficult going, and we cannot ask also any other department to give us money. So we either the department will give or you have to keep quiet. So I could not go there. But the paper seems to be so good because I do not know. They even without presenting it was published. So it became later I realized it was my bad luck. If they had rejected, I would have published as a full-fledged paper in some journal. But then the problem was, why I am telling is, they said only 2 pages I have to generate for that conference. In the proceedings, it will take only 2 pages. So the limit was only 2 pages. So 2 pages, the entire work what I did, I had to put them. So you can imagine 2 pages what we can do. So Sun and Planetary System, it was published in its proceedings. This proceeding was there in our VSSC Vikram Sarabhai Space Center library. So I could only take the Xerox of that. And when I made volume 1, so I had to take only the Xerox copy of that. So, but there was no soft copy. So no, still I don't have. So today when I was planning this lecture yesterday, Then I had taken from my mobile, I took the photo of those 2 pages, and then put it there in Word, in Paint, and from there I have made these things for you to be shown. It was published in this proceeding. It was an important contribution, but could not find suitable place in literature as it was published in a proceeding. Because it is a pub proceeding, nobody will have easily. It was a very costly also proceeding. So, like the proceeding which Dr. Bhatnagar, made for that conference, that proceeding, because it is a prerogative of the publisher, how much money he charges. They charge very high. So these things will be going very, very, very limited places. So the advertisement for your paper will not be there, and that's how you can see it has got only the citation only 12. Out of that, half a dozen maybe I might have done myself. So that is how, friends, I lost a very important result. But well, this is how you learn. That's why I am telling these things. So you people are all youngsters. Many of you are youngsters. If you get any result, don't jump on a conference and throw it there. Either you should publish it again, or you only publish part of that there, send it there. Because otherwise, like us, like me, the two of the important result we have lost. The Coriolis force is the one which we have found out the mistake of Professor Save. That paper we lost, and this paper also I lost. That was with my boss, Dr. Subbarao, but this was alone in my name only. So you see, this is how now I have done for you. This is on linear stability of triangular aberration points of the photogravures, restricted three-body problem, and the more massive primary is an oblate spheroid. So this is all a small introduction is there, and then you can see there the critical mass mu c is found to decrease with the increase in oblateness and radiation pressure, radiation force, and become 0 for Q is equal to that condition which I told you, where A is the oblateness coefficient. So avoid, because that time the typewriters also, we did not have like this facility. So I had to run around to get it typed also. The things were not easily available. So somehow with great difficulty it was typed. The eccentricity of the conditional retrograde elliptic orbits around the triangular points at the critical mass with the increase in A and FB, and becomes unity when mu c is 0. So all these results were studied. But only thing is, I could not put them. So all results left with me only. And at that time, I was working we had project work also at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, and I was working with KS transformations. So that became that time more important contributions there. So this was only I started as for this conference, and then I missed a very important result in the literature. But anyway, it is there, documented is there, but it did not get its credit. But later on, people have used it, but some people do not know where is the reference, so they may not be able to put the reference also. So you can see, now you see, these are equations of motion. I don't know whether I typed or how we typed. Some things are handwritten. See, omega, etc. They were. So only the typewriter this was typed. So that's how these things look. Extra these things. So now the thing which I tell you, see, it was easy for. This is first time the equations were seen with this more massive primary and oblate spheroid and source of radiation. So logically, I thought, okay, you put one here as Chawla and Dr. Bhatnagar has put Q here, and with bigger primary, and then mean motion already we have already found out. So the same mean motion will be used. N square is equal to 1 plus 3a1 by 2, 3a by a1 also I dropped because typing was difficult. So okay, instead of a we put a1, we put a only. So this is all the difficulties when we were not having the today we can do anything, you can do wonderful typing. So the location of triangular points. See, the location of triangular point was difficult in this case. Later on, many people have done. So they in fact, much more difficult things have been carried out. So they know. But then with this, I found out a R1 first approximation. This was interesting. I must have done some some calculation. Maybe I was good in analytical calculations. So something I did and then did this R1. This is up to A1 square term I took. And Q is there already. The radiation pressure, if term is there and oblateness term is there. So H is also contains, H is not the energy, it is contains this Q and this N. So this has been added. So because they were defined in such a fashion that we get, because this is a fifth degree, a polynomial, and then you have to get with solution of this you have to get. This you can get from here. That is not a major. R2 you can get, but R1 getting was a little complications. So I got it here. So linearized equation, that same method was same, but where only thing is I could not document it. So with this ends also the question, the solution ends. So the discriminant is there, K is there, mu critical, and then you see this is the mu critical values. Mu naught. So this is the same thing with oblateness, which we have got. This is with oblate radiation, but this also Chawla's paper was containing. This is the term which comes both A and this thing, oblateness, and this is coupled term. So this is there. You can see here this 4/27, and this term is also equally. These two terms were there, which was the additional of the up to this term only. I took only the linear terms only. Proceeding as in the other paper, we found out the retrograde orbits around the triangular points can be established. The eccentricity orbit increases with increase in A, oblateness and the radiation pressure, and becomes 1 for K is equal to 0. In that case, mu C becomes 0. So we had already seen a condition when the critical mass becomes 0 and R1 square is equal to 3/2. Because this condition also we have seen in here, R1 square is equal to 3A1/2. And Q is this. So this condition we located, restricting only to linear terms in this. There. Even there was no place even to tell whether it is increasing, decreasing, because by that time the page was over. So references are only, anyway, references were, this is Bhatnagar and Hallan, and even I am not seeing Bhatnagar and Chawla paper also. Hallan, this is 79, this is Coriolis force thing. And this is Chernikov. This is okay. From here also we can take that radiation pressure, because he has done radiation pressure. Chernikov has it started by Radioski, and then this was 70 paper was there. So this paper could be used for that. And this is the one where we have found out the solution for the critical values. And this is there where we have written the that both the things were there, where both the primaries are oblate spheroids. That was taken here. 76 was that one I have not given, and this is the book. So that's all. So this was the paper, and I lost a important result. So the conclusion is that when we get good results, and I had a lot of calculations were there with me, still they are there somewhere lying. So, but I lost a very important result, which I should have done with Funfair. Now the second one, this is the equation. This is the paper I did. Actually, Mr. Chawla was short of one paper, so I thought this paper, if we do together, then this can be done. But unfortunately, he lost interest in completing his PhD. So then it was lying with him for quite some time. But then he did not publish it. Then I had to do it. So linear stability of liberation points of the photogravitational restricted three-body problem when smaller primaries and oblate fluid. And this model, works very well for the solar system, because sun is a source of radiation, and we have, oblate bodies. Jupiter, Saturn. Saturn is the maximum oblateness. Jupiter is also having a very good amount of oblateness. The difference between equatorial and polar radius is around 6,000 kilometers for Jupiter. Saturn, they are all even Earth 22 kilometers is there, and all our sun synchronous orbits, with what we have been spending, Space Department spends their sun synchronous orbits, because that Earth is oblate. That's why these orbits are there, sun synchronous. We can have. If Earth was only spherical, then we don't have these sun synchronous orbits. So this paper we did, this was 16 in that my volume, and this was done. Okay, this was done properly. This was done properly. All the results were documented properly, and that's why you can see here. You can see here 129 times it has been cited. Google today only I have yesterday only when I downloaded there 129 Google citation. Google updates quite fast. Google Scholar citation 129, and their other one is only, I think, how many, 12 or something, 10, how many are there? We can have a look on that. How many was there? Because this has taken, when it is taken a photograph, etc., it has taken a lot of this thing also, place also. That's why it opens slowly. Only 12 times that is cited, and other one has gone this. Whereas this work is also equally important. And this was done in 82, that is done in 87. 87 it was published. I did it early, but 1 year it was lying with Chawla. So then I thought, okay, now something I have to do. So it was done. So 129 time it has been done. It is the second. Other one, the note, and this almost 130 and 129. These are the maximum for my any papers. No, nobody more than this. So this is how all these papers were done. I took some of the papers with me, and then the Radwanski, he's the originator. He started 53. Then this gentleman Sarnikov, he did. Then later on, this some work he has done. Siemens has done, and in between these works, and then all these things, I got from the literature, how the values, you can do this, how to write these things. That got the things, and then we took the paper. N2 was known, whether bigger or smaller, that was not a major issue for me. So mean motion was known, and then equations we knew. Okay, you have to add to bigger primary Q, and smaller primary you have to add this A2. So this was added. Mean motion is there here. So all this is the normal things here. So partial derivatives. So these are important for us, because from here only the 5 Lagrangian points come. So when y is equal to 0, then you get L1, L2, L3. So Zabay book is anyway all the time was helpful. Zabay book. So you get a 7th degree polynomial here. So both, it's a function of both A2 and oblateness and the Q also. Somewhere Q also you'll see. A2, and then where is Q gone? Q is there here. Q's are also coming wherever possible. Wherever it is, it will get find its place. It will come. So these three L1, L2, L3 have been found, and that means R2 still remains 1. See, when you don't take any, when you take only the classical restricted three-body problem, R1 is also 1 and R2 is also 1. But then here you can see, because Q is going to be less than 1 if you take radiation pressure, and N is going to be more. So R1 will be reducing. So it will become an isosceles triangle. Distance between the primary will be 1, and one of the distance is 1. So two sides are equal, but one side has become smaller. So it becomes so this was the locations were, this equation helped us quite a lot in evaluation of the all studies to the triangular points. So we call them the triangular points. So this is all only linear analysis we do. So linear analysis is not that difficult. Only you take only the higher order terms, I square, eta square, when you expand it, you take only the linear. I explained to you how do we do it in the first lecture when I gave a restricted three-body problem. So all those things, and then you get this characteristic equation. And this characteristic equation has 4 roots, and then that way they will decide the stability characteristics to find out at collinear points So omega xy will be 0 and omega x greater than 0. And this will be, with some effort, we can prove again that this will be less than 0. So this, consequently, this will be less than 0. Omega xx into omega yy will be less than 0. Again, this is all Zabe's material from Zabe, this thing. Only our things will go inside, but the write-up is almost similar. The beta 1, beta 2 square, that is all defined in his book. And this is how the equation, the solution is written. And then we got this condition. And then we got this. This is the beta 3. Now beta 3 you have to calculate for your system. N is coming already inside. And that Q values will also enter somewhere. So this is the eccentricity, and this is the major axis of this. Now stability of the triangle. As I told last time, so this became very handy for us when we were doing oblateness. F and G. Only F and G. So for all the problems, this later also many authors have followed this method. F and G only will change, because we could identify that F and G, once you define, then this form will be this only. F into x minus mu whole square plus G into x plus 1 minus mu whole square. Greater than 0, because these are whole squares. And this F and G's are greater than 0. And this is plus minus F into x minus mu or G into. And this is y square F plus. So this form will be same. Only F and G values will be different for different problems. So this was very handy actually when we do this calculation. So again, you get a characteristic equation at the triangular points, and you have done it. And then this is the discriminant, and then from here you get the 4 roots, the pure imaginary, that when D is positive, then we get all the 4 roots, and triangular points are linearly stable. That condition we will get, that will be the critical mass condition. So the critical mass condition we are getting, discriminant is 0 when this equation equal to 0, and then when A2 is equal to 0, that coincides. So we have said that Zernikow also has found, so that coincides with that. The Zernikow paper was there with me, so that's why I have given that reference. That was in our center library was good, very good library. Later on, gradually it was improving, and when we say them that some reference we need something, they were trying to get us also. So it was that way very, very nice. So mu critical we have found alpha beta up to this level, and then when we have, and then terms only A2 are terms. Only where we have taken only the oblateness, only A2 term. A2 is square terms, etc. And Q, the radiation pressure we write as 1 minus. If there is no radiation pressure, Q will become 1. So epsilon is a small value. That's how the radiation pressure we handle. And then in that thing, this came, alpha, beta, gamma. And then this came, and then this came. Now here I want to tell that my brother, he is also attending, I think, this lecture. He found out a mistake here, one of this thing. He did PhD on this same problem, this whatever the title is there. And his guide was Professor Bhola Ishwar. And he found out one mistake, one of the expression, I think somewhere, I don't remember now which one is there. He presented this one in international workshop. Professor Bhola Ishwar conducted it in Muzaffarpur. It was very, very, very well done. Professor Diprit has come from US. Diprit, we know Diprit also in one of the lecture I am going to tell about him. Just some relevance I'll have to see. So Diprit has come, and I remember Diprit. If anybody else has come, I am not remembering, but it was a well organized, well done things. Professor, and from Delhi also many, I remember Professor Bhatnagar, and then she went, Rashmi Bharadwaj was there, and many other people also were there who went from Delhi University also. And then there were, we had come from VSSC, a few people from VSSC have come. My brother also came there, and he presented this. So there was a mistake in one of the things. So, and he also had only a calculator. With that calculator, 12-digit, I think, accuracy was there with that. that he was calculating these things, and he found it. So you see, these human errors are possible when you do the calculation. I also did by hand only, by calculators only, because. But now today's date you can do it, because you have so many Maxima, Mathematica, so many things are there, so you can avoid any kind of mistakes like this. But that time it was not possible. Only hand calculations were possible. I was going through, because one of the celebrated paper, which I presented here to you, Kozai's paper. Kozai's paper on effect of the oblateness of a satellite, Earth. Oblateness of the planet around which satellite moves. There one person has found out mistake. He did, of course, because I did. Anytime he did 58 or 59, and we have found out Pedersen paper. Where my student, he's also there here now, Dr. Prashant Kumar. Pedersen has found out. Pedersen, he did a solution. That work also I'm going to present is a wonderful work, and still a lot of research can be done there. What Prashant has done is, he has taken radiation pressure. We took oblateness on that. Myself and Dr. Subbarao, we took oblateness on that, and that was the work which we presented in the international conference, which was done in Delhi by Professor Bhatnagar and international. That's a wonderful conference, international workshop. So still, it is many problems are there. You see, now these combinations are there. You take oblateness and radiation pressure and both bodies, and like that, a lot of things you can do. But that paper had some mistake, and when we were doing analysis, we were doing by hand only. Both of us used to sit together and then do it. I had my good fortune that Dr. Subbarao was there, my boss, and he was doing we were doing, both two people were doing together. So sometime mistake. I have seen Dr. Bhatnagar and Hallan working when they were working on their nonlinear problem. They used to work very hard, because it's a very hard thing. Zakir, when it was at Ajmeri Gate, that college, the Delhi college, and they used to work very hard. Similarly, we had to also work very hard when we were working these problems, because these Maxima, Mathematica, say now you people can do it very fast. I can also do it, but now I am not doing it. But some of the problem in case transformation, I have done it. We have used it, and we have done a lot of good work because of that. So he found out one mistake here, and that, of course, the effect was one of the I think term was affected there. So this is and he presented it there, and there itself I told that yes, there was a mistake. We should agree when a mistake is there. Because I learned the lesson when Dr. Bhatnagar told me. Sabhay has openly said, yes, I had a mistake, and he only suggested that this problem could be studied more now. So this is mu critical, the values. We could see these are all the expression was good. We have compared these things, critical mass, and it came quite well. And there also, you see, it was a self praise. I was only making this, that is from first 82 paper, oblateness and radiation pressure becomes zero when this. Sharma 82 had further proved that when the more massive primary is an oblate is fried, as well as is a source of radiation, so the critical mass value decreases with the increase in oblateness and radiation force, and becomes zero for Q. This condition. And this is a condition which can happen. It's not an imaginary value. These are not imaginary numbers. Even oblateness coefficient of the more massive primary. So that's how, friend, this paper was done. Bhatnagar Chawla is there. I think somewhere I made a mistake. Bhatnagar Chawla, yeah, this is there. It may be noted that A2 is equal to 0, exponent 15 is up to the quadratic term is same as in Bhatnagar and Chawla. When Q is equal to 0, it coincides with the expression given by Bhatnagar and Hallan. That's why I think this is there. Q is equal to 0. It may be pointed out that Subbarao Sharma had proved that the critical mass value decreases when the more massive primaries and oblate is fried. I think this should be 75, maybe 75. They also established, in contradiction to Zabe, that a small increase in the Coriolis force also decreases the critical mass value. So this was the thing, whatever damage that we have done. So to improve upon these statements, I was making in the paper, so that the paper is not going unnoticed. So friends, paper should be the lesson we have to learn is. Now after that, I have not missed anything. Now I don't miss anything. If some paper is there, I make it a point that it is documented properly. Only that time, two of my papers, what this was individual, one was individual, and one was with Dr. Subbarao. These two we missed. We have not documented them properly, or we did not. We have wasted them in conference. I can say. So that is why sometimes it happens. Secular terms, these are secular terms. The way I told in oblateness. So in the similar way, here also we can have that thing. Secular terms. The solution, as I told you, I did by Laplace transform, which my colleague Dr. Shukla guided me to Laplace transforms, and then that helped me to get the solution for that differential equation. Is it Laplace transform, friends, is a very, very powerful thing. Those who know is good, those who do not know, but of course nowadays you may even use maxima, etc. There also Laplace transforms may be there. And you may get a solution without your doing, actually. So these solutions we obtained, and then these were utilized with the same special velocity component, because you can't get the all the time. You have to get conditional periodic orbits only. So when these velocities are, these special velocities components are there, you can have the periodic orbits. So this is the equation again for the ellipse, and whose eccentricity and other things. So I thought eccentricity I should talk, because the eccentricities are quite large. So the aim is whether to see whether it is decreasing or increasing further, whether the perturbation is making it is similar to critical mass. Critical mass, if decreases means your zone of stability is decreasing. So but if eccentricity is decreasing, we are happy that the orbits at least they can, we can see them more. Chances of their happening is better. So here we got this. After doing this algebra, I have found out this eccentricity, and this also my brother has found this kind of things. Maybe I don't know whether this was any error or not. I don't think there he has found any error, but that was their critical mass. I remember. It is easily, you can see here now. This is when without oblateness is this, and then this is with this thing, and this is going. A2 is there outside. So with A2, you can see this. This is how this critical mass, the eccentricity, becomes function of both these, and you can see this is becoming increasing, and it will increase with A2 and epsilon also. So authors are thankful to referee for their suggestion. Okay, so these are all the references. The two important references. This is with Chawla and this is with Hallan. So both we are and this is the one which we referred to that. And these are the basic papers. They are in Russian. So because this astronomical journal is a Russian journal, but well, this is, he only started this problem. He only, because solar radiation is a complicated force, but then he said he major component he has taken. So the major component is opposite to the gravitational. So that component only, he said, that's the major. And then this is there. See, this paper is here, which because those people don't want the titles, so this has gone here. 2 pages, 35, 36, 82. So these are all the things. This paper is there where Zabe, that made a mistake that Coriolis force is he proved that Coriolis force is a stabilizing force, but it was not so, because I explained to you why it happened. Because he didn't take the partial derivatives there, and he just kept them just like that, and it became like that. Now this is the next thing, a case of, we wanted to see now the how because we saw there is a in the z direction angular frequency and planar, you see when they come, then when they match or they have some ratio between them, then only you can have periodic orbits. And now halo orbits are very popular. Even halo orbits that have started at that time, 70 only they were identified by one great man. Now I don't remember his name. Maybe when I talk about halo orbits, then I will be telling about him. And MIT, he did his PhD in MIT, and that we have L1 at L1, L2, L3. We have halo orbits, but then those halo orbits, when you take, how they come is non-linear terms. When you take, see, we all these things, whatever we are talking now is linear analysis. We are not taking the, when we are going away from the Lagrangian points, then only it is possible to have, then only that in plane angular frequency and the z direction angular frequency, they will match. But if you have in linear analysis itself, if you have a one-to-one commensurability, then you can have very small size halo orbits also. That, and they may, and it's possible that they may stay for more time also, because essentially the L1, L2, L3 are unstable, but they want to stay for a more time. But still, that analysis we have to do, whether they can stay for more time. So this is, in that respect, we were trying to see whether the one-to-one commensurability exists, because we saw a trend in their angular frequency, z direction and coplanar angular frequencies. These are the important ones here. So this is that's why we call it a case of commensurability induced by oblateness, celestial mechanics. This okay. So this is again from there, because when as I told earlier, my deputy director, Dr. Mr. S.V. Sharma, he told, when you are writing your these volumes, why not every page, every paper you write few lines in the forward and that thing. So that made me to, that was in June 2011, I was retiring, and June I was busy in making all these things, because it took time, you can't simply write. You have to write only few lines. So in 11, study carried out. In 9 was further studied analytically as well as numerically. Series expressions for the angular frequencies at all the equilibrium points are found, and earlier numerically made conclusions verified analytically. Earlier we did numerically, now we did analytically. It is established that oblateness induces one-to-one commensurability at L2 and L3 between the planar angular frequency and the corresponding angular frequency in the z direction. So this is a condition for the periodic orbit. Otherwise, three-dimensional periodic orbit you cannot have, and this is a wonderful result actually. So a case of so this probably why though it is published in a very top journal, Celestial Mechanics, but the citation is 20, because probably still it could not be used much by people. When they use it, people can put only when they are using the results. So if they are using, then they will be putting it. But anyway, 20 only has come here. So in this we did a good amount of analytical work. Our earlier numerical work was there, and then we had found the series solution for the the location of L1, L2, L3. These are the equations, for this we already found earlier, the locations of the, this is with oblateness. When we get more massive primary is an oblate is ferrite, and then this we know, n square 1 plus 3 a1 by 2, and these are all a square by 5 square. These are all the gift from the McCaskey book. Okay, so then Taylor series expansions we were done. These are all done by friends by hand only. So we both of us working with this thing, but now you can do them very easily. This work will not take that much time when we use this maxima and other things. So you have Xi1, Xi2, and Xi3. So this is related to L1, L2, and this is related to L3. So this is, we got and you can see the oblateness is there. A1 is there, and A1 is there here also. A1 is there here also. And new is a parameter which Zabe has also defined. This term, it became handy, and so we got these angular frequencies because we had to find out the series expansion for others. We lambda's unstable angular frequency, we don't worry because there is no use for that. The periodic orbits come only from the imaginary roots only. So this SI is the angular frequencies, SI and SZ. So these are the ones which we wrote, and then we one by one we did. So it was a Herculean task to do these calculations, but well, we were determined to do it. Both of us were there, so we did not lose our heart, and we worked continuously to calculate SZ and S3. So you can see the kind of coefficients, where you can appreciate us, our hard labor, how much it has taken. L1, L2, these are all done by hand calculations. We had a calculator, calculator only, and calculators were also not that great. One DCM calculator we had, which was doing the calculations only, but of course that was useful to us. So we got S3, SZ. This you can see here. See, this is increasing, this is decreasing, and that made us that these kind of things only gave us the thing that some place they are going to be same, and we wanted to see the S3 and SZ where they are equal, and that all those things we try to do. You can see here one line here for the Saturn Titan system where mu and A1 are almost of the same order. This error was also less in the series expansions. Error was because these are publishing in a top journal. They will see whether these things. That Celestial Mechanics was the best journal that after it has come. So so the errors were also we checked these errors. As far as authors are aware of the series expansion for SZ. See, other things were some expressions were available in Zabe's work and Zabe's book also. SZ was not available even in the unperturbed case, because that nobody see when you are not studying something you will not do also. So for us it was there because we wanted to prove that they are equal at some values with oblateness. Even when A1 is equal to 0, these expressions are not available in the literature. That's what we have could not be found explicitly in the literature. So commensurability now. Commensurability means they are same. See, this is one-to-one commensurability because equal. If it can be 1:2, like you use, I told that Roside, whatever that devotion's name, 2:3. So that means one is taking 2 rounds, another is taking 3 rounds. So this is how this between 0 and mu. So S3 is equal to SZ. And series expression, they help us. You can equate them, and then you solve them numerically, and then you can find out the unknown value from there. See, these are oblateness coefficient, and this S3 is equal to SZ. These values also we got, and from A1 equation and from this equation, and this is almost they are quite nearby only. You can see their differences are very little only. Now this is the mass parameter versus commensurability, one-to-one commensurability. So between mass parameter and this is the oblateness coefficient, and this is the angular frequency value. So this is the oblateness coefficient. It has reduced, and this side it has up to that some maxima has come. Like actually this kind of graph we get in aircraft when we study the. Because I teach aircraft also, so aircraft lift when we do, then that time this kind of graph comes. Stall, we call this as a stall, then the lift reduces. So this is similar to that, and this is the one which angular frequency. These are the angular frequencies. So this is the dotted ones are the values. Their values. So at that they are equal now. So this is a equation, from that, those equating those two, we get this, and then Newton-Raphson's method we utilize for it. Newton-Raphson is a wonderful method, which is very, very powerful method. And now, of course, you don't have to do all this, because I'm talking about that time when these were not there. Now these whatever lab, MATLAB, etc., those they have all algorithms available. You just select properly and you can get the solutions. My student, BTech student, she used to do it very fast, because she says, "Sir, these are all available." So the research, the quality as well as the time reduction is now possible. Quality of the research can also improve. It may be interesting that, for example, that Saturn-Titan system, the A1 that induces commensurability is of the same order as oblateness coefficient of the system. So in this system, one-to-one commensurability, so studying halo orbits in this system is where you can have very small orbits also, because this oblateness is helping to induce that one-to-one commensurability. And that is the one which gives the halo orbits are all three-dimensional orbits. So this is one which helps you. At L2, though, S2, Sz increase with oblateness effect. A commensurability ratio exists between the oblateness coefficient and the corresponding angular frequencies have been plotted in this, while for small and practically important values, mu, the same information has been. So here, in this case, L2, this is not going to be of much practical importance. That's what we assessed here. We have, but it is there. One-to-one commensurability exists, provided in figure 3 for clarity. The oblateness coefficient in this case has also been obtained by this method only. This obtained by equation, and it is pointed out that for some mu around 0.2, when Newton-Raphson's method failed to converge to a root, then this method was used. So here only that this has failed. Normally it doesn't fail, but it has failed. That also we have reported. This method then we used. Unlike this situation at L3, A1 in the present case decreases with mu and is too high for small mu to have any practical significance. So for at L2, the system which we have now, whatever our systems, we have those like you take Saturn and its satellites, and or Sun and other these things. So this will not have much practical importance here. That's the one. That is the message we are giving here. This is oblateness only. So Saturn is highly oblate, maximum oblate. So, and it has got too many satellites. So some of the satellites, the oblateness coefficient will be changing. But still, we did not locate any system like we obtained Saturn-Titan system, because their mu and A1 was known. In this case, we could not find. L2 we did not find. Not much importance. So at L1 we could not see. At L1, we can see that this is S1, this is Sz. So this is again always going. When oblateness you increase, this is also increase. So we couldn't see that they will be any time equal. So it is seen that truncated S1 and Sz provided negative estimate for A1, indicating no possibility for one-to-one commensurability between two frequencies. So at L1, if you want to generate the halo orbits, we will have to see halo orbits, how they are generated. We take nonlinear terms. We expand that force function by our Taylor theorem, and then we take higher order terms. That means we have to go quite far, you can say the distance has to be quite large. Then it's possible that sometime they may match. So, but L1 is important, because it's nearer to the smaller primary. So if you take, say, of course, here Earth doesn't have that much oblateness, but if you take the other parameters, Jupiter and say Saturn and Titan, so it will be nearer to Titan, to this other side, and L2 will be in between. So commensurability between the two frequencies. Figure 4, wherein Sz and this versus mu are plotted, clearly growth of two frequencies and oblateness effect are almost same magnitude. Thus, it may be concluded no such commissurability exists. L1. So there is no at L1. There is no commissurability exists. But L3 has got the maximum benefit. L3. L3 is of the same distance. What is the distance between us? It is slightly more than that. Supposing you take Earth and Moon, so whatever is the distance between Earth and Moon, it will be same distance other side. It will be other side of the Earth, Moon. So you take Moon, Earth, and then you take the line backside. It will be there. So there, and that will be slightly more than that. So for completeness sake, we have found out that at L4, L5, this equation is there for oblateness, and Z is equal to 0. And then we have found that short periodic and long periodic angular frequencies. We have two angular frequencies, both mean for at between mu is equal to 0 and critical mass. Both are these pure imaginaries, and that's why we get these stable roots, stable solutions. And S4 is this. See, one is increasing and one is decreasing. You can see from here this because this term is going to be positive. This is going to be positive. So S4 decreases and S5 decreases. So which means earlier we saw it numerically, but see, when I was writing my doctoral thesis, I have plotted these things, but numerically I have shown there. And at critical mass, both become equal. So that graph will come like that. The accuracy of this series solution truncated to almost the same as in unperturbed, even when for fairly large events. So their accuracies were large. So equation 17, 18 clearly indicate that the short periodic frequencies decrease. So these are the short periodic S5, and the other one is long periodic. So long periodic increases with the inclusion of A1 terms. As such, the near resonance condition between the mean motion of the primaries, that is 1 plus 3 A1 by 2, and short periodic motion at L4, L5 is disrupted with oblateness. That is SZ L4, 5 becomes now this. So it is further increases. This is n square. Earlier raised to our half was n mean motion, but now this got further increase, the mean motion of the primaries. That is with oblateness. So these are the references. See how many small references we were at that time. We were able to publish because we were the initiator of this problem. Otherwise, now I'll show you a paper where we have same. Earlier, so many we have to put. And now, if you publish any paper, it will come if you have not written a significant number of research, references. So this was the one which takes care of the equations, and this was the one where we have found critical mass, and here this is the one where that Coriolis force is not a stabilizing force. The Zabé's result we have proved there that it was wrong. And then this is one. This I don't remember now. Maybe some series he might have given here. Something we might have taken. And Vidyakan paper anyway we have been giving because this is also contains with oblateness terms. So this is all this. So one more last I will talk about this effect of, though we have reached 12, but this paper also I thought I will complete it. Effect of oblateness and radiation pressure on angular frequencies at collinear points. So this is there in the Astrophysics Space Science 2008. In 21, the problem of 14, where the more massive, where I missed, that train 2 pages paper I wrote. Then I thought my colleagues, one colleague was needing urgently some research paper. I motivated him, and then 2 colleagues I put here. So one was good in numerical, and another one. Then I thought, let us complete this work, where the more massive primary is an oblate is fried with the equatorial plane coincident with plane of motion as well as source of radiation. Same thing, the first 82 what I did is studied numerically. The collinear point L1 is found to come nearer to the primaries with the increase in oblateness and radiation pressure. L2 and L3 move away from the more massive primary with the increase in oblateness and come nearer to it with the increase in radiation pressure. So it is both it is happening. It is established that for certain oblateness and radiation pressure parameters, there is one-to-one commensurability at the collinear point L2, L3. Similar what we get oblateness between the planar angular frequencies and corresponding SZ. in the z direction angular frequency, and L1 there is no such. Here also we didn't see anything. L2, L3, the value of oblateness parameter providing the commensurability decreases with the increase in radiation pressure. So this was interesting. So at the cost of radiation pressure, which is, if it is there, then you can decrease the oblateness. So with less oblate prime bodies can also have one-to-one commensurability at L2 and 3. However, the commensurable angular frequencies and eccentricity of the periodic orbits decrease at L2. Decrease is a very welcome, and increase at L3 with the increase in radiation pressure. So with increase, the radiation pressure is helping here L2. That whatever radiation pressure, the more massive primary is there. So this is the paper. This has been cited 22 times. See, it has got at least better than the other fellow. So this was, even then it was done in 2008. That is done in 82. 82 to you can see after so many years later it has come, but this it has got 22 effect of oblate, because this is there in a standard journal and people are able to read. So I will skip all these things which I already told you. Equations of motion are same now, because whatever I have done in that 82 paper, now they are nicely here. Maybe I could have taken from here and kept it there also, but I wanted to show you what was published there. So this is there. These are equations. So these are the ones for finding out the Lagrangian points and the location of the collinear points. We know these are all now standard. All of you, many of you have done many problems, so this is all there. You can find out this is also 7th degree polynomial. Only 9th degree polynomial comes when both the primaries are oblate spheroid, or if you put again on them source of radiation also, then they will become 9th degree polynomial. Or radiation will not increase because we are only reducing the gravitational force there. So it will not increase the degree of the polynomial. So these are all 7th degree polynomial. So location of the triangular points are there. This here I have located. See, this I have given. Okay, I have to advertise this. So I have given advertisement here. And then is noted L1 comes nearer to the primaries with the increase in oblateness and radiation pressure. L2 and L3 move away from the more massive primary with the increase in oblateness, and come nearer to it with the increase in radiation pressure. So variational equation and characteristic, this is same method, and you have got the characteristic equation. You have written these things. Now here all these are available. All these were available to me at that time, but then I have given them those notes, whatever I am having. I said, you have these notes and you start working, because they have to do numerically, they have to find out the commensurability. That was the major thing in this paper. So these are all were there. And then three-dimensional, you have to find out the SZ also. So SZ was the three-dimensional equation is written, and then you have SZ expression we have to find out. SZ expression comes also in terms of the in plane these partial derivatives, and then this is given in Zave's book. From there only, that's why I told you Zave book I went on reading and went on completing my doctoral thesis, and partly it was done without that also beginning, where that Zia Saglia's paper was utilized. So one-to-one commensurability we studied, and I will show you now. You can see here figure 9, oblateness coefficient A1 versus mu. So this is there, oblateness and A1 coefficient that at L2. This is at L2, mu and oblateness coefficient A1. How that is there for getting S2 is equal to SZ. See, there are so many graphs here, so many tables are there. I have taken only few to show you. When we have a one-to-one commensurability between S2 and SZ at L2. So this is the kind of scenario. Mu, for all mu it is there, and these are the oblateness coefficients. So that means on smaller mu, you need larger A1. So it goes in a different direction. For larger mu, you can have a smaller A1. So this will be in stars. Maybe some stars you may have mu two binaries when they are binaries. Where mu is 0.5. That kind of system probably we may have the application of this kind of situation may happen there. And these are angular frequencies and mu. And how these angular frequencies are with the different values of the radiation pressure. When Q is equal to 1, no radiation pressure. But when radiation pressure is increasing, then how this is changing. See, this is the red one. This is this one. Like that, it's black. So this is last. So it's coming down, decreasing. So these are the mass parameter versus commensurable angular. These are also commensurable angular frequency. S2 is equal to Sz. For S2 is equal to Sz. That is the result. We were searching. So this came after that a lot of calculations, etc. We did there. And then we have found out these things. And this is also eccentricity. This is eccentricity, which is also interesting. Eccentricity of the periodic orbit at L2. At S2 is equal to Sz. With one-to-one commensurability, what happens to those L orbits kind of thing versus mass parameter mu for this parameter. Now this you can say decreases because this is last. So when radiation pressure, see, this is a large radiation pressure, and Q is equal to 1, no radiation pressure, but these values are these effects are larger, but then it decreases. It's just showing that, you see, this number has come with it, and here you see it has come for smaller value of mu, it has come up to this values. So that was interesting result. And this is the one for at L3. L3, what happens? Oblateness coefficient A1 versus mass parameter mu for this Q. This when S3 is equal to Sz. Now this is oblateness coefficient, and this is the mass value, and when they are equal. So these oblate coefficients are small. You can see these values are also small, and here also for this mu value, small mu values also, these are small. So this was the one which is interesting. It's interesting. So conclusion is that at L2, L3 we have the one-to-one commensurability. L3 it is useful. L2 also sometime in stars, etc. somewhere we may get some notable cases where we can use these results. And no acknowledgement. But this paper was reviewed by a great man, this Professor G. Kontopoulos. Actually, I wanted to today talk about him also, but I couldn't catch his biodata. Full this thing by G. Kontopoulos. He is quite a very aged person, and I hope he is still alive. And he was reviewing this, so we were feeling happy that we have been. This paper has been approved by a great man, Kontopoulos. He has done a lot of great research, very good research. He has done, Kontopoulos. He is from Greece. He has done a good one. A lot of references are there. Now you can see references. So you can start here. Bhatnagar's paper is there. Chawla paper is there. And Sharnikov has done work. Diprit note. Collinear. He did some series solution. So something series solution is there. Dokolos, plane equilibrium point restricted with oblateness. Something was there here. And then Singh, Jagdish Singh has done a lot of work. I think we have to have one lecture. We will request him to also deliver some lectures. He will. I hope he will agree, because he has done a lot of research on restricted three-body problem. So these are only two I have referred here, but he has got, I think, maybe quite a good amount of research he has carried out. He was the examiner of my student Prashant doctoral thesis, and very beautifully he wrote this thing also. And then these are there now. Radwanski is there, Ragos is there, Marklos is there, and this. So we did a good literature survey, and then these are there. And this also a radiation pressure effect, and then this is the perturbation. This was my original paper when I started with the Lagrangian points. I took both the primaries, the oblate spheroid, and found out the location of the this, which I told in the first first or second restricted three-body problem. And this was a linear stability in the photograph. This is 82, the 2-page paper, and this is there in that full paper, 87 paper, and this is my brother's paper, which he presented their proceedings of the work. These proceedings are also, I wanted somehow time was short. If I could not locate it, maybe here somewhere if it is there in my Trivandrum house, it is there. Now I'm in here Coimbatore. So this otherwise I would have later sometime we will show when time comes. We'll prove it. So this was the one where he has proved that there was a mistake in my work. So this is collinear, our paper, and this is our paper. And this is case of commensability. And then this is their Simmons, Brown. This is also a good paper on restricted three-body problem with the radiation pressure. It's a well recognized work on this. He has proved L6, L7 also out of plane things he has proved over here. And then these are all note on stability. They are critical that we have found out that critical mass, and here the effect of nonlinear. This paper anyway I am going to talk because this is the nonlinear stability we did. So this work also I am going to present when I come to nonlinear works. This was a very good work which we published. We took a lot of time. This has taken a hell lot of time for us, maybe more than a year. And then finally we got a Maxima software for 40,000 rupees that time, when in 91 or 92, somewhere around that, or 94 I think 94 we got it. When we did our analysis again by this, we found whatever we were doing, mistakes were there. So friends, it is not very easy to do analytical work. What Pedersen has done, what our Prashant he was doing, that work, because he had a handle on Maxima, so he was able to do. But Pedersen has done, and he has not able to find any mistake of Pedersen. Pedersen then must have done. He has done only by hand calculation, and there are no mistake could be found in Pedersen work. So that is the greatness of Pedersen. So theory of orbits. This is how the Vidyakin and these things is there. With that, my today's lecture gets over.